Hello health seekers, did you find my video today because of the title? Are you like me and always searching or researching to feel your optimal best, but you have conditions or a myriad of symptoms getting in the way of healing your disease? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share a little bit about my experience with concentration issues, brain fog, memory loss, and debilitating fatigue in relation to Lyme disease, celiac disease, hyper or hypothyroidism, mono, mole toxicity, chronic fatigue syndrome, and everything else in between. Disclaimer, I am not a medical expert, so please seek the help of a trusted healthcare professional to help you with your situation. I had a whole bunch of notes jotted down for this video, but I could blab on and on about my symptoms, my conditions, but I don't necessarily want it to be all about me. In my intro video, I do mention that I want this to be a place where we can chat. And I don't want to bore you with all my symptoms, but I will try to summarize it in a quick 5 minutes to hopefully get a conversation started and get answers to our situations. So for me, I believe that my issue goes back to when I had mono as a kid. I did feel very sick for a good month, got antibiotics. I eventually returned to school feeling somewhat normal, but I always feel like I remain tired. I never could shake off that debilitating fatigue I experience after that. Throughout my school year, especially high school, all I wanted to do was fall asleep in class. I had a hard time reading and retaining information, which is probably why I excelled more in art classes and sports. Eventually, I did go to college. I took graphic design and I successfully completed that program, and it was great for me and it was something that my brain could handle. I got a job. I did move back home to my parents' house and I was traveling back and forth. Throughout those years, I was still eating everything I wanted to. I hadn't really changed my diet. I exercised a lot to stay healthy, and that too, I believe, helped my brain function as best as it could. But I was always very tired throughout, but I always pushed through. I think the problems got worse when I met my husband, not because I met somebody, but because eventually we got married, had kids, and busy mom, wife, life. And I just felt like the lack of sleep, the stress, different stresses that we experience in life, and the fact, of having babies and also miscarriages, unfortunately. And also having it be a time in my life that I experienced a lot of losses, which when going through challenging times in life, I did feel like my health took, a few steps back. Once my kids got to, like a little older, I felt that it was okay to now focus on me. I was getting tired of always feeling tired and feeling like poop. So I did reach out for help. I went to my doctor, and even though she was hesitant to test certain things, simple things like thyroid, eventually she did, but it was always in a, normal-ish range. So she never dug deeper to see what was at the root cause of my symptoms. I eventually reached out to a naturopath because I felt that their approach might be more beneficial to how I wanted to heal or feel. And that was the first time in my life that I changed my diet. I eliminated gluten, eggs, dairy, grains, legumes, and also I did also give up nuts and peanuts because my son had an allergy. So removing all these allergens actually made me feel pretty good. What I regret And if you're going through something similar, is if you're going through something and somebody suggests that you eliminate gluten, just take a celiac disease test beforehand. Because guess what? I felt so much better after eliminating gluten that I never consumed gluten after that. Never, unless accidentally. And anyways, it would have been such a simple test to take at that time, but it was never suggested to me. So more time passed and, felt pretty okay most days, but always feeling tired. Foggy brain was a normal thing at this point, so I just thought it was, or some would think that it's just normal mommy, stressed out, tired brain, but it wasn't. It was more, and it took me a while to realize that it was not normal to feel that way. A few years passed, like a couple, and I started feeling really bad again, and I sought the help of a second naturopath because she specialized in gut issues like candida and SIBO and leaky gut. And for me, I felt that's where I felt that it was the next best step for me to try and see if those were my problems based on what I was reading or researching. And she did help me some, but I did also react crazy to a lot of the supplements I was taking. So what would happen when I flared? I would stop everything, and naturally I actually would feel a little bit better because my body got to such a weird state of always feeling awful, like even more tired, and just anyways, like a whole bunch of unpleasant symptoms. So it might have fixed a few things, but it would also make other things feel worse. And now today I know why, and I'll explain that a little bit later, but as time goes on, now everything is making sense. So I stopped seeing the second naturopath, and shortly after I decided to go to an orthodontist. And you might wonder, what does an orthodontist have to do with this? But I had such severe jaw pain that it was contributing to my headaches. When I had headaches, I couldn't sleep. I could never get rest, like proper restful sleep. So I never felt good. So I got braces for 18 months, and it realigned my bite, and it actually did really improve my jaw. So that was a good thing. And the next professional I got help from was my neck pain has always been there, present, excruciating. At times it's worse than others, but it was just never going away. And to the point that even like turning around in the car when I'm driving, it was really painful. So I got really frustrated, and one day I was at this health expo and I bumped into a chiropractor, and that's when I knew that somehow it was meant to be, and I actually got a consultation and I started getting adjustments. I never thought that I would see a chiropractor, but I did, and after a year of going 2 to 3 times per week, I started feeling improvements. I continued seeing him, but I probably went down to once a week at some point, and that's when, I got the best sleep of my life. I could easily sleep 4 to 6 hours straight. I am not joking you. This had never happened. And waking up feeling refreshed for once in my life, it was great. But as of last year, the pandemic started and I stopped going. I will go back one day, but now I'm noticing a year later that some of my symptoms are coming back, and which indicates to me that it is time to go get more adjustments, because if you find something that helps you, why not keep doing it, right? And in 2020, last fall, is when I felt probably the worst I had in my life. And I saw somebody post something on Instagram about infusions, like IV treatments, where you get vitamins and minerals infused into your body, and it's supposed to make you feel like $1 million. Well, that promise made me really excited. So I reached out to a third naturopath, which is the one I'm still seeing today. And she made me take a few tests in order to determine what my body needed. I got 3 IV treatments, and sadly, I did not experience improvements or changes that I was hoping to get. I was hoping that it would give me energy, and it never really did anything. So, but one doesn't know unless they try it, right? So all this to say that I was trying to improve how my brain was feeling, because it was feeling worse and worse. Concentration was still not there, and now I had really started seeing changes in my memory. And my fatigue was, in the fall of 2020, like something I had never experienced before. Like I could get up, do a few things, go back to sleep, do a few things, go back to sleep, do a few things, and all this to say that by 9 o'clock at night, I was ready for bedtime. I was wiped, and I couldn't figure out why. But I decided to stop all the supplements I was taking because I felt like I was reacting to something. And strangely enough, I started to feel better again. And eventually, that's when my naturopath suggested mold. And I was like, what is mold? What do you mean mold? She's like testing the mycotoxins in your body to see if they are present in higher levels that your body cannot detoxify. So she got me intrigued. And so I decided to read about it. And then I started reading more about Lyme disease. And when I read about Lyme disease, I realized quickly that mold issues often come hand in hand with Lyme disease. One doesn't cause the other, but what I'm getting at is that if you want to treat Lyme disease, if you have Lyme disease, but you also might not know that you have mold toxicity issues, that might prevent you from healing the Lyme properly. How did I get Lyme disease? I have no idea. Maybe I'll never know, and maybe as I go through this, I will discover new things. Why did my body all of a sudden become susceptible to mold? I think celiac disease and also thyroid issues can also be a factor in how your body handles certain situations. And I think once you become so sick or so unwell with a variety of problems, then definitely mold can become a problem. Or maybe it's always been a problem and it just flares up like other conditions. I could describe what I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis in detail, but I think if you found this, it's because you too are probably going through your fair share of issues, and I understand you, and it's not in your head when you have such a foggy brain that you can't even think or function anymore. You almost start believing, like, not necessarily that you're making stuff up, but you almost feel like you are creating what you're going through, but it's not the case. Like, it's not the case at all. You can feel and find some relief. It's about finding the right treatments for your situation. I will never suggest or tell you what I necessarily take, because our bodies are so different that even if I try something, it does not mean it will work for you. Unless I try something miraculous and I feel that I must share, I will share. But I haven't encountered anything that's made me feel extraordinary yet. So what has helped for me is eliminating all the foods that cause me to feel unwell. It's doing things that make me happy, exercising, taking walks, getting fresh air in nature. What has made my symptoms worse over time is definitely taking too many supplements that might not have been the right ones for me, even though they were suggested by professionals. Processed foods, junk food, fried foods, they are not good for anyone really. Stress, managing your stress level. I know you hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. It gets really frustrating, but just don't let the little things get to you, because I know for me, little things can affect me, but it's about learning how to let those little things go and dealing with daily stresses as best as you can. and not sleeping. If you can't sleep, you can't heal. So finding what will help you sleep better and have a better night's sleep is very important. Your body needs to sleep to heal. It's as simple as that. And I know that. And when you can finally sleep or sleep better, it can make a world of difference. Definitely eliminating gluten has been something I've done to improve the fog. And of course, avoiding any foods, healthy or not healthy, that make me feel worse. What improves the fog as well is exercise as much as you can, even if it's gentle exercise. It can be walks or yoga, even though it can be really, really hard at some days to move your body. Even 5 minutes of stretching can be very, very, very beneficial. And I know I have to keep reminding myself. I used to be a super active person, so for me to get down to the point of doing 5 minutes per day or a 15-minute walk is defeating. I won't lie. I want to run. I want to cycle. I want to, do things to challenge my body, but I am not at that point right now. And the best thing you can do to make yourself feel better is be around people that uplift you, that make you feel good, that give you good energy vibes. If there's tension or negative energy, it will not make you feel good and you will not feel your best. So these are just quick tips on things you can do to feel better. I hope you can find answers to your situation to make you feel better. And this video was probably a little bit weird, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm not sure what my next video will be about. If you have suggestions, you can also let me know in the comments. And don't be afraid to say hi. I am just a normal person going through probably symptoms that are very similar to yours. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.